when Krishna wants to have particular types of pastimes, maybe he wants to fight with so-called demons. The best person to play that part is a trusted associate. Right? So, in the case of Shankachuda or something, maybe it might even be a cowherd boy or someone. And there's a play beyond all this. Again, there that sometimes, maybe on the plea of one of these cowherd boys doing something wrong in the spiritual world, that Radharani or one of her girlfriends may curse them, just like people in this world. They go to hell. When you're in Goloka and someone's cursed to go to hell, what that means is Yogamaya, Baladev and Yogamaya are scripting Krishna Leela. So someone's become inspired along these lines, and now that person will descend, or by extension, extend a presence in this plane, and then they're situated to swell the progress of Leela. Just like in a play, there are different players. They have different roles. It's meant to swell the progress. So it's always a trusted associate who's given that type of part to play. Right? And we know also in the acting world, Hollywood, the Academy Award, sometimes the man or woman who gets the Academy Award played the most vile character imaginable. Right? I'm now not going to recite a litany of such persons, but you can fill in your own blank. It's someone, and then they'll later that person's sitting there with an Oscar. It was, I usually play these really nice people, but it was really a wonderful opportunity to play someone who was just so evil, and like that, right? So if that's possible here, you can understand it's possible there. Everything that's here has its representation in that plane. So Srila Guru Maharaj said that as Christ, we know he's carrying the cross up to Mount Calvary, and at one point, and Veronica's wiping his face, and this is going on, and that's going on. And at one place he stops, and there's Judas, you can see in the crowd, and they make eye contact. Right? And we're told after that, in varying accounts, that Judas hangs himself from a tree. So Guru Maharaj posed this question. He said, what was in that look that Christ gave to Judas? What was in that look? And he offered this, that Christ, and that caused such effect that he went off and hung himself. So what was in the look? Christ submitting to him that, forgive me, please forgive me for using you in this way. Your name is going to be black for all time to come, and I've used you in this way, and you please forgive me for doing that. And Guru Maharaj said, so Judas, seeing that this person who ostensibly he turned over to the authorities to be crucified, and call it what you will, he's begging forgiveness from him for using him in that way. And that, realizing such compassion, such affection, he went off and hung himself. So there are those of the opinion that who could be entrusted with this type of responsibility but a trusted associate. Any other questions?
Yes. 13AY523 guest is asking.
Who's that? Like the child of C3PO and
Isn't it the role of a moral person?
I forgot again. I remember. Forgive me. I know people are really sensitive about their screen names. Okay, so forgive me.
Of a so-called moral person to exemplify more compassion?
What is that?
Isn't it the role of a moral person to exemplify more compassion?
Then I mean, that sounds like a non sequitur.
He's just asking.
Isn't it
He was wondering about your...
the role of a moral person to exhibit more compassion?
Isn't that their role?
You know, we would have to define what is a moral person, what is compassion, and those morality is a relative thing. Right? What's moral for one may be immoral for another. Right? So we're not pursuing mundane morality. Okay, but rather that which transcends mundane morality. And I mean, I don't mean to make light of this, but really, it's a relative thing. But someone can say, well, but everyone has a sense of what's right and wrong. In the general sense, sure. But on other issues in the contemporary world, what someone perceives as immoral, someone else has another opinion about that. And what is immoral here in the mundane world may not be immoral in the spiritual world, in the unconditional existence. And we're more interested in pursuing that. We don't have secular pursuits, right? Our focus or target is not this plane, which is temporal. It will vanish, and all these considerations along with it. Right? It's a scientific fact. It's known. Scientists they disagree on many things, but they're in consensus that the world, there's time fixed to it. Whether it's 10 years to the 10th power, 12th, 15th, 16th, whatever, but they're all in the consensus that time will come, this will all vanish. And so will all the relative considerations that go with it. So we're focused on that plane which will continue to exist when this plane vanishes. Anyone else? Okay. And we'll just conclude with one thing about compassion.